We are back with you now on Wave Listens Live. Of course, this is our special show. We got to do this last year with the sports crew. Touchdown Friday night kicking off here this evening. That means high school football is back in the state of Kentucky, of course, covering parts of southern Indiana as well. So great slate of games, a lot to look forward to this year. And I've got the best two guys to talk about that, Dusty Baker and Kendrick Haskins. Good to see you guys.
It's good to see you.
We don't get to hang out
Happy to be here, man.
Yeah, I think I last saw you at Derby.
Yes, yeah.
I
saw you at the gym the other day.
That's the right place to go, honestly. You're not seeing me there for a reason. So.
Well, being that it's new year, new football season, Dusty, let's start with you. Kind of, you've been at this for several years now. You've integrated yourself into what the high school football community is like here in this area, because you've lived several different places. So going into this year, initial thoughts.
You know, it's exciting to be able to see the rivalries. I think that was something that I really embraced last year, because you have a lot you have to learn when you move to this area. And, you know, the first question I got when I came here was, what high school do you go to? So I said I went to Valencia High School, and, you know, I was shocked why people were puzzled by that. Yeah. But Valencia in California, of course. So very different culture out here. And I think it's very similar to when I worked in Texas. Just people live and breathe this. Obviously, seeing Manual and Male, for example, that rivalry, that was really special to see the history and learn about the history of that. So I think kind of seeing all those pieces come together, and it probably took me about 2 to 3 weeks before I really started catching on to, okay, here's the rivalry here that really matters. These matchups matter. Like tonight, we got a really special one we'll talk about too with Central and Manual, but just to be able to have these schools come together and have these rivalries, but also the passion is something that I feel like is really unmatched in the surrounding area and reminds me a lot of Texas. It really does. So I was very impressed, and year 2 is exciting because now all of a sudden, you know, we get a piggyback off what we saw from a year ago.
You know the players and everything to expect. You also bailed me out for making me seem like too much of a homer because you brought up Male first. And of course, the question of where everybody goes to high school. I'm a Male Bulldog graduate, so I will turn to Mr. Haskins for this one. How the Bulldogs looking this year? Male going to be good? We're always good. I mean, I can say that, right?
They're always loaded with athletes. They have their defensive back who is committed to U of L is going to play quarterback this year, and so that's going to be interesting to watch. They have a lineman who's one of the top recruits in the country, and so they've got some pieces out there. Antonio Harris is the defensive back that's moving to quarterback, and they've got some pieces out there. Mel's always loaded with talent. They're a little bit young, and they lost some playmakers last year, losing Max Gainey, who is one of our favorite players, because Max always knew where the camera was.
Yeah, good.
Showed out in a big way.
Every time he scored a touchdown, he'd point at the camera and do something towards the camera. But they lost a lot, but I mean, Coach Wolf's a great coach, and they're always loaded.
Build it back. You know, you bring up an interesting point, because nowadays a lot of universities are able to offer scholarships to players who are, you know, they're not seniors. A lot of them, but we've seen stories. I remember Michael Bush back in the day, I think 6th or 7th grade, UK and U of L were both ready to offer. And so when a player says, yeah, I'm gonna be dedicating a lot of my time to offense this season, what's going through the minds of the colleges, especially if they've already committed somewhere?
Don't get hurt.
Well, and on top of that, it's the athleticism, I think, just showing that they're capable of playing multiple positions, because the reality is, and there's one player that I think we really need to keep our eyes on in this area that will be in our game tonight, which is Cortez Stone. He'll be playing on both sides of the football. He's known as a running back, but he'll also be playing corner. And you look at a kid like that, okay, now all of a sudden, not only is he going to be out there recruited for being a running back, but he has the capabilities of proving why he could be a D1 corner or a safety, or something in the defensive back. So there is an opportunity, I think, in this part of the country especially, where kids can play on both sides of the ball, multiple positions. It gives you versatility and the value that you can take moving forward. I mean, that opens up doors, right? So that's super crucial, and we're going to see that also at Cal, because the quarterback will be a brother taking over for a brother. Cole Hodge turns to Connor Hodge, and Connor Hodge was a stud wide receiver committed to go to East Carolina, and now he's taking over at quarterback. So you just never know where your value can come from, and as Kendrick mentioned, you got to stay healthy. That's the key.
You're building a skill set either way.
Yeah, and Cortez is so interesting because he jumped on the scene. He's been on the scene since he was a freshman. He played just straight running back his freshman year. Sophomore year, he played both sides of the ball. Last year, as a junior, he moved back to just playing a running back, and then this year he's playing both sides of the ball again. But he's an interesting guy. He's he's a funny guy, and he's a great player.
I imagine seeing Travis Hunter have success at the college level, a lot of high school athletes saying, okay, this is safe for me to do because it's working out well for him. I want to talk about the show itself. I remember, and we've talked about this before growing up here, I remember waiting for the 11 o'clock newscast on Fridays because I wanted to see, are they covering mail and what's going to, the games that I attended as a student, I wanted to see, did I make it on camera in the section or whatever. So let's talk about the show this year. If people haven't gotten to see it, what to expect and some of the things that may be different, change this year.
You know, we always have a lot of fun with it. A lot of it is Dusty and I trying to make each other laugh.
The black polos are world famous by now.
World famous black polos.
I had rented one once. I had to give it back.
You had it for this segment last year.
I did.
Brandon Spencer.
The guy grew it.
All that time in the gym. But our news reporter Brandon Spencer, he came on last year, and we bring him on, and that's another one of our favorite segments because we usually make fun of him when we talk to him.
The pick on Brandon segment.
Got it. And he signed up for year 2.
He did. Shockingly.
Glutton for punishment, that guy.
Right.
But you know, we cover as many games as we can. We have 12 games tonight.
Okay.
10 of them, we're shooting 10 of them, and then we got 2 more. Trinity's playing at Bryan Station in Lexington, so our Lexington station will send us that. And then Christian Academy is playing at Owensboro, which WFIE and Evansville will take care of us for that game. So yeah, we're all over the place on Friday nights.
It's exciting. It's also exciting that we get another segment together here. So we've got more that we're going to be able to discuss. One thing that I want to make sure that you guys remind me not to forget to talk about is just the energy going into Friday nights, and you just picture, you know, the lights all lit up. It's like a high school Americana image burned into your mind in a good way. And so kind of want to get our pulse on what the energy's like out there. So you guys are hanging around. We've got some sponsors to introduce you to. One more great segment to go on this Friday afternoon. Stay with us here on Wave Listens Live.